Yo, what's going on, guys? Your Mark is back here in the final video for tonight. JC is going to be giving you his Week 17 NFL game picks. Hope you all enjoy, and let's get into it.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Okay, so our first game is Cowboys-Eagles. Now, last week, Eagles looked like absolute garbage. Carson Wentz has been digging them out of a ditch. It seems they've been dug out of a ditch every single week after that game. That just showed how awful the Eagles play. But then again, the Cowboys. Dez Bryant played absolutely awful last week, and that contract. And, I mean, he was all about the contract thing, absolutely ridiculous. You know, I would have to go with the Eagles there just because, the Eagles did not look good last week. But they're playing well, and if Carson Wentz can dig him out of a ditch every week, he can do it one more time for a really, really bad team. Their offense is really bad. They're now feeding the ball to Ezekiel Everett every single time, and the Eagles' defense has been shutting down every single run game that has come up against them. You name the run game, they've shut them down. So I'm going to have to pick the Eagles that week.
What's the score? Just make an estimated score.
I'm going to estimate the score is going to be pretty high. I'm going to guess I want to say 31-17 Eagles. Next game, Redskins at the Giants. Man, let's see that one. Redskins, Kirk Cousins looking absolutely awful this entire season. I don't think he has shown a mark of any stability except a little bit in last week's game. They have nobody for him to throw it to, and he can't get it there. But then there's the Giants, blowing it against a injury-ridden, completely dysfunctional Cardinals team. I don't know how this game's going to go down, really, but I'm going to have to go with the Redskins because maybe, just maybe, Kirk Cousins can pull it out against a really awful Giants defense, and then the Giants offense is nothing to worry about. So I'm going to go with the Redskins at a really awful score of 15 to probably, I want to say, a 12. It's not going to be pretty, though. Bills at the Dolphins. The Bills. They looked amazing at the beginning of the season. Had a playoff chance. They were looking like the team to be. And then, Tyrod Taylor. You're killing me. That was really something else that he just did in the last 3 weeks. The Bills have not been showing their good side these past 2-3 weeks. It has not been pretty. The Dolphins have actually looked a lot better these past 2 weeks. They looked pretty good against Raiders. They've looked pretty good throughout this season. I don't know how well they can carry a team. They have had many injuries, including Jay Ajayi. Everybody's been injured on the Dolphins. But you know what? I think it's just going to come down to who is going to want to pull it out more. The Bills just don't seem to want to make a win. So I'm going to have to go with the Bills on that pick the Dolphins on that pick with a score of 21-18 is my pick. Browns versus Steelers, not going to say much here. It happened a year ago. Somehow the Browns almost came up with a win against the Steelers. The Steelers just look good. I don't care about James Harrison. They just look good. So I'm going to call a Steelers win. I'm guessing a blowout of 45-9 is going to be my guess on that score. Saints and Buccaneers. The Saints are the team to beat right now. They look absolutely stunning. They look like they can win a Super Bowl. After that win against Atlanta, they look like they are actually something that can win a Super Bowl and actually look good while doing it. Other than the Patriots getting lucky that Atlanta blew an absolute lead a year ago. So, and the Buccaneers, Jameis Winston had just absolutely awful last week. The Buccaneers have an awful defense that cannot stop the passing game and the run game of the Saints. The run game of the Saints has been absolutely stellar this week. Mark Ingram and all of them, absolutely stellar. And I just don't think the Buccaneers have the defense to stop them. I'm going to guess the Saints win at a good score of, I want to say 28-14. Next, we have the Texans and the Colts. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one. Gone with Deshaun Watson. We have seen Brock Osweiler cannot throw the ball for his lifetime. The Texans' defense is J.J. Watt with a bunch of overrated players. DeAndre Hopkins actually had a very good catch last week. Doesn't matter if Brock Osweiler cannot get him the ball. Well, that seems to be selling some things. Let's go with the Colts. The Colts are no better. They have done absolutely nothing good. Andrew Luck has, I don't think, ever looked worse. But I just think the Texans are so injury-ridden after Deshaun Watson leaves, and they have no possible way to pull themselves out of the ditch that they're in with Brock Osweiler. All the Colts defense has to do is get pressure on him, and nothing Brock Osweiler can do will cause the Texans to win. I'm going to have to go with the Colts on that game, and it's going to be probably a slug out. Maybe I'm going to put down like 18-21, and it's going to be in overtime. Packers at the Lions. Now, this is an interesting game because a couple weeks ago, and I think it was week 10, the Lions were supposed to crush the Vikings and become the division leaders. Didn't happen. Now, the Lions are supposed to crush the Packers, and the Packers look awful. I'm a huge Packers fan. They just don't look good. They have shown how much they rely on Aaron Rodgers. Jordy Nelson was going to be a big thing coming back. He really has not shown his great side. The run game has been so relied upon. It's been Aaron Rodgers in the run game. It's basically the Packers. They seriously need to fix something. Mike McCarthy is not that great, honestly. They need to find a solution. Aaron Rodgers is going to leave. He might even have to leave the Packers after they broke the injury rule in that last game. This is absolute ridiculousness. Why aren't teams able to do that? The Packers were America's team, and yet they're breaking the rules of the NFL and losing one of the best players of all time. This is absolutely nuts. This should not be happening. The Lions have looked okay for once. Matthew Stafford has always been okay. There's never been an issue with Matthew Stafford being absolutely bad. Finally, though, it's a year where no one's good, so someone okay like Matthew Stafford becomes a god. Wow, what a wonderful world it is. So I'm going to have to go with the Lions on this one, and you know what? Maybe the Packers can pull out some incredible win, but I don't care. It's not worth anything if they ever want to make it to a playoff. So I'm going to go with the Lions at a win of 17-10. Next to the Bengals and the Ravens. Oh, man. That's interesting. We got the best kicker versus probably one of the worst quarterbacks. I don't think a kicker can dig you out of a ditch that much, but you know what? I got to say the Ravens probably have it. The Bengals just look awful. They have not looked good this season. They have no offense. A.J. Green can be as good as he wants, and he's really good. And that's about all they have. They have no run game. They can barely run a passing game. They actually have an okay offense, so I can't complain completely. The defense is okay, mediocre at best. But the Ravens have not looked any better. But you know what? I just think the Ravens have the better team. They have not looked that great. I mean, they've had to dig out of some really hard ditches, and they did not have the greatest beginning to mid-season. I don't think they're going to pull out some impressive win. I'm just going to say they're going to win it out. And I'm going to guess a score of 24-13. Next, the Panthers at the Falcons. Now, this is a big game. After that Atlanta Falcons loss to the Saints, they need to win this game. The Panthers are also needing to win this game. So, Cam Newton has always been a good player. He looks awful this year, we know. But I just feel like Matt Ryan can maybe pull out a win on this one time. I think he has a bare shot. So I'm going to have to go with the Falcons on this pick. And I'm going to get a score of 28-27. Next, we have the Jaguars at the Titans. This is not much of a competition, I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to rest anybody. I think they're going to keep everybody in. They'd be insane not to, even though they have the playoff berth. I don't think it's that smart. But if they do rest something, I still think that somehow they will pull out a win just because their defense has looked so good this year that I don't think Marcus Mariota can do anything. He really does not have the team he needs. He is a talented player. There's no question about it. He doesn't have a coach who can get him to be to his full potential. So I'm going to call the Jacksonville Jaguars on this one. Resting people or not, they're just going to win it. And I say it's going to be a close game since they probably will be resting people. I'm going to put down a score of 28-21, a one-score game. Next, the Bears and the Vikings. This game is really not meaning much to me. I just think the Vikings are a good team. The Bears, Jay Cutler does not look any good. He never has. He needs to find, he's gone. And I'm glad he's gone. I'm so glad he's gone because he never looked good. Now we got Mike Trubisky, who's an insanely good player. He's not bad. He is a coach who is awful. And that's all I'm going to leave it at. I'm going to call the Vikings to win 23-10. Next, we got the Chiefs and the Broncos. This one I don't have much of an opinion on. It's just they don't look good. The Broncos do not look good. I mean, that's all basically I can say about that one. The Chiefs don't look like the best, but they look like they did in the beginning of the season. They look like they can make something happen. So I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with the Chiefs for the win. I don't think they're going to make it far in the playoffs if they get a playoff, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Chiefs are going to win, and I'm going to guess a score of 17-14. Next, we have the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Man, the Cardinals somehow won last week. That was actually something to be proud of. They actually won. Does it matter against the Seahawks? No. Does Russell Wilson have a good team? No. Does it matter? No. I think the Seahawks are going to win. It's just, I don't think the Cardinals have enough people, good enough on their team who are not injured, who are going to pull out that win. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to call the Seahawks 23-17. Next, we have the Raiders and the Chargers. Neither team has looked great this year. Raiders actually looked good towards the end of the season. The Chargers, I thought, were actually going to be good. They pulled off some impressive wins, but they just have not been able to get it done and finish games and win games. Honestly, I'm going to have to give it to them, though. They looked so good when they needed to, and, maybe they can pull off some clutch plays when they need to. The Raiders, the defense is not good. It's just Khalil Mack. Everybody else is overrated, and we all know it. It's not a question of if they're any good or not. They're really not. Derek Carr has never, ever looked worse. He looked absolutely awful last week, and he was actually looking pretty good at the beginning of the season. It just really is not happening for that Raiders team, so I'm going to have to go with the Chargers 23-14. And then finally, Garoppolo versus the Rams. The Rams are resting everybody. Garoppolo's on fire. I really think Garoppolo can maybe pull off a win here. So I'm going to have to jump on the Garoppolo bandwagon. And I'm going to go with the 49ers winning. Not by much, but I think they're going to pull out a win. I'm going to put down 13-7 they win. And that's all my picks for this week. I hope you enjoyed hearing them. Hopefully they maybe gave you some insight into this week's games. And thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.
And comment down and comment, Let us know in the comments below what you think. Comment down your picks, and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you all enjoyed the basketball game that we did earlier today. You're all a bunch of homies. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace out. Have a great day.